This cabin belonged to a friend of my grandfather's. My father called him Grampy Lou. And this is his cabin. And I'm proud to say that it has not changed. It has managed to stay true to the cabin it was back, long, long ago, when Grampy Lou used to stay here. That is not to say that change hasn't occurred. Doesn't look quite the same as it did when Grampy Lou was here. But that's because it never changed. Nothing new has happened here in years. No new parts, nothing has been replaced, nothing has been updated. It has still got the original material, the same old cabin it's always been. You wouldn't want to live in it anymore. Nobody's lived in it for years. This is the problem with when we get too afraid of change. Certainly, not all change is created equal, and actually, obviously, change has occurred here. But the changes that have occurred because intentional change was never embraced, because no change was ever made for the better. It was just kept the way it always was. And when we refuse to change, we are actually embracing just a whole different kind of change. If you're in a church that can't change, it's changing, just in ways that are probably a little unfortunate. Time changes us all. This cabin is no longer able to fulfill its mission, which was a nice little place to stay. Maybe in the fall to have a little fire and get out of the cool. In the evening to have a place to sleep and stay dry if it rains. Now you can barely go inside, and who'd want to? We have to allow change. Good change. But there's a constant need in the church for renewal. And sometimes that scares us because we want things to just always be the way they've always been. But this is what happens when you don't change anything, when you keep things just the way they've always been. Change occurs anyway. And in our country today, so many churches, if not physically, they look like this. They're closing. They're down to a handful of people. They're not far away from falling over or caving in. And somebody else is going to own the property before we know it. We must renew. We must transform. It doesn't mean that we have to throw away old things, but we must continually be renewing them and updating them so that we can keep places that have always meant a lot to us, so that they can mean something to the next generation. My children have come over and explored the ruins, and they lament that this cabin is no good anymore. It's not here for my children, and it won't be here for their children, because nobody ever changed anything. Let's make sure that we don't abandon change, that we don't turn our back on making sure that we're renewing and rebuilding and helping things keep moving forward in the church. It's essential.